Welcome to another episode of the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. I'm John Chen, your host. If you're watching on social media, make sure and subscribe, share, like, comment. If you comment during a live program, we might give you a shout out. If you want all the episodes of the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast, we just crossed over 2,500 downloads. Hit engagingvirtualmeetings.online, subscribe on one of your 15 favorite podcast downloadable sites. And if you want to learn how to be more engaging, come to the Engaging Retreat. You can come to this link over here or scan this QR code, get a free ticket. We have over 18 speakers this year. This is something I'm working on right now because it's coming up October 28th through the 30th. If you want to learn how to be more engaging, either as a speaker or as a meeting professional or as a leader in your company with your employees, this is the place to be. We have some of the top people here. We'll show you not only technology, but technique about how to be more engaging in the world. Speaking of engaging, this next guest, she's a speaker, storyteller, entrepreneur, and she's the host of the Being Tracy Show. She won an award at a Keller Williams, that was a real estate award. At the heart of everything that she does, she helps people turn adversity into strategy and transformation, and she's the oldest of 6 kids. Let's welcome Tracy Busch Pate.
I'm so honored.
Hello, Tracy. How are you?
Hello. It was such a blessing to meet you recently at the National Speakers Association. Thank you so much
You're
for the
welcome
invitation today.
Thanks for hosting me right in Fort Lauderdale as part of the Florida Speakers Association, right?
Exactly.
Tracy?
Yeah, you added so much. We loved that meeting.
Oh, I'd love to hear, like, what's one thing that you think you took away or that you want to do based from that meeting, if you don't mind me asking.
Well, I think it was just about having fun. You know, it was really, you made it so enjoyable and so interactive with everybody that was at the meeting. And you made it really easy for us all to relate to each other, I think.
Oh, well, thanks, Tracy. And again, that's one of my top rules, right? If it's not fun, we're probably doing it wrong, right?
Exactly. I totally agree with that. I totally agree.
Well, Tracy, some of my friends don't know you, and of course, we just met, so I'm excited to learn even more about you. But why don't you take this moment to introduce to my guests who you are and what you do in the world?
Hey, well, I'm, as you just said, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm host of my own podcast, The Being Tracy Show. And it's about, I can't say what it's like to be me. I can't say what it's like to be everyone else. And so my guests that I have on the show, I interview to find out what they've gone through, what kind of adversity have they beaten so that they could reach the levels of success where they're at today, where many people strive to be. And so when people are, you know, in a dark place in their life, sometimes it can bring them up. It's Being Tracy predominantly on YouTube, and it brings them up and gives them the tools that some other people that they know now have gone through and achieved, and the way that they've handled the adversity that has come up in their lives.
So, what's the genesis of this show? What said, I've got to make a Being Tracy show?
Well, here's what happened. It started as a blog. Okay. I lived in South Beach, Miami. After a 17-year marriage, I got divorced when I lived in the country of Panama, moved back to the States with my kids, and lived in South Beach, and I started dating. All right, which caused a lot of situations. I had never dated a lot, you know, so I had a lot of situations that came up that I would just be floored passionately and have to get it off my chest through writing. So then when I put it on my Facebook page all the time, I was putting it on my personal Facebook page, and my family was like, whoa, that's too much. Don't share this stuff with all these people. And so I asked my friends on Facebook, I said, well, what should I do? I want to share this stuff. I want people to learn from the things that are happening to me. How can I share it? And then one of my advertisers, my family also owns the American Chiropractor magazine. So one of my advertisers came up and said, hey, I can make you a blog page. And then we're going to have to make you a social page on Facebook, which will be what the people from the blog page will fall off it. And so my blog page was called Being Tracy, www.beingtracy.com. And so then I would share these stories of interactions with people while I lived predominantly in Miami that would affect me passionately. And I would have an amazing story, that's an unbelievable story, things that happened to me. And so that's how it started. And then when I got the podcast opportunity, when I lived in Boca and I showed him all of my blogs, he said, "Oh my gosh, you've got all the material right here." So that's how we started the podcast. Was I was it's my blogs are funny because it's personal interactions can be very funny. And that's the way I choose to look at everything. It's you learn from everything that happens to you. You laugh, let's just take it lightly. And so that's how it all started.
What's something that's happened since you started because of the podcast? Maybe you met somebody or somebody asked you to do something. Is there something that's happened because that you created this podcast?
Because I've created the podcast, well, what I'm hearing is that people really love it, that I'm real and that I'm
Mm.
telling the stories because a lot of people don't like to talk about the bad things that happen to them or
Uh,
have happened to them. Now, I don't like to focus on the bad things that have happened, but I just like to share, hey, this has happened to all of us. And people have told me that they really appreciate that I get offers alternatives to getting down in the dumps and stopping. And heck, I was in a situation when I was 20 where I lost the use of my right side of my body. And I was told, and my parents were told that I'd never walk again. So
whoa.
my whole life has been about resilience and beating adversity and the tools that I've used. And that's what I share on my show. And I understand that people have really gotten a lot out of it.
Well, talk a little more. So, how do you get out of this never gonna walk again to, of course, being Tracy and cruising around the world on 2 feet?
Well,
Let's hear one or two things. Yeah.
that personal story happened when I lived in Indiana. I was working for a National Cheerleaders Association
Oh,
at camps. And I was driving to a camp and I said to my brother that week, I said, "Oh my gosh, you didn't fix my seatbelt." I said, "I'm probably going to get in an accident and die." And so what happened was I was driving to a camp in Tennessee from Indiana and I was looking down doing something. There was a cop or not, no, there was a doctor and a nurse in the car behind me, which was astounding. And they said that I was looking down doing something. All of a sudden, my car flipped 3 times, threw me back into the road 75 feet.
whoa.
And so when they tried to scrape me off the pavement in the middle of the road, the policeman told my family that I might not have survived if I had had a seatbelt on because the impact of the roof of the car would have made hit me.
In the head.
But,
Mhm.
so anyway, it threw me out of the car. I ended up doing karate on the paramedics, and because I was taking a karate class in college that year, and so when
Wait, wait, wait. Did you say you just beat up the paramedic who's
I
trying to
sure
help
did.
you?
I did karate on him. I did karate. One of them told my parents, "Boy, she gave me such a kick." So anyway, when I finally woke up in the hospital in Terre Haute, Indiana, after 5 days in a coma,
Yeah.
I didn't know who my family was, and I couldn't move the right side of my body. And so, but my dad did word association with me and found out that with when he said the word school, I said life. So they got me out of the hospital. My dad, being a chiropractor, threw me in the pool because he knew muscle memory. He said her body is going to know what to do. I was a competitive swimmer.
Mm.
So he threw me in the pool. Of course, the first time he had to jump in after me because I started sinking because I didn't couldn't you move the rest of my body. But eventually, in less than a month's time, my body remembered how to muscle memory. You remember how to do it. And that's what a lot of things I have found is the resilience and beating adversity is the memories that you have stored in your head of how you have dealt with previous adversities,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that being said, I ended up through that. I got myself back to life, and my parents sent me back to college. And but I mean, at first, I didn't even remember who they were. I had to re-remember, get the use back of my arm so I could write again in college. It was a whole deal. It was a couple year process, but
Do you
that's
do you remember the moment that you remembered them for the first time? I feel like this is kind of was like a moment, right?
it was. Well, I mean, when I woke up, my mom said to me, "Do you know who I am?" My dad said that to me, and I said, "Yeah, your Jean and lady friend." So
What does that
My
mean?
mom's name was Jeannie. My dad's name was Richard. So I don't know, where that
Oh.
came from. But my mom had said too, she thought I'd lived a former life because I was using all these big words and old time words and everything. And my daughters now are named Marlena, Caroline, Tiffany, and Alexis. My mom said, "You are an old soul," because I've used these long names. So anyway, but I mean, it's just, adversity happens to everybody and in different forms. This is the first time I had dealt with anything like that. And then because of the way my father chose to not listen to the hospital when they said she'll never walk again,
Yeah.
and just do exactly the opposite, throw me in the swimming pool like I knew what I was doing, the muscle memory remembered and it brought me back to life.
Yeah, I mean, there's things that we talk about here, like anchoring, right? Anchoring says that you know how to do something and you might have forgot, but if you can trigger the anchor, right, it will come back to you.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
that process of remembering, uh,
exactly.
actually sometimes not a process of learning, it's a process of remembering.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, interesting, Tracy. So, what did you do during speaking of adversity? Let's talk about adversity. Now, you might have been. Were you a real estate in 2020? Is that what you were doing in
In
2020?
2020, I was. Yeah. I was
Okay.
in real
So,
estate. I moved from Miami Beach to Coral Gables to join a real estate team there with Keller Williams, is who I was first with. And I bought a car. When I moved to South Beach, I sold my car because in South Beach, you don't need a car. You could just ride. I rode a bicycle with two baskets. And I worked out of my house for the family business, the American Chiropractor magazine.
so what happened in March of 2020? So, of course, for a lot of speakers, it was challenging. Real estate actually, I think, got hot
It did. It
in the
sure did.
pandemic. So, what happened to you in March of 2020, and how did you deal with that adversity?
Well, I mean, it was it was a good time because I was able to help a lot of people find a new place to live, especially when they were going through COVID, and it was a difficult time for everybody. It was an unbelievable time. I lost a lot of Facebook friends because they were all going through their own thing, and everybody just wanted to be safe,
Yeah,
right? That's what it was
right.
all about. That was a recurring theme. They just wanted to make sure they were safe. And to different people, safety meant different things. So for the majority of the people that I helped, I found that safety meant getting them in a home where they could self-supply. They could have enough food there to keep for a while. They could have, friends close by,
Right.
walkable communities.
Right. Interesting. So, so yeah, so you just went into a little bit of heyday. Did you have to work now more virtually with clients,
Yes.
or?
Yes, definitely virtual. Yeah. In fact, when I moved from South Beach to Coral Gables, I had to do a virtual meeting to see my apartment because they wouldn't let anybody walk through there because they all had a mask on. They all had a
Yeah,
mask on. They had like, these big, what is it called? What, drapes or whatever, drapes, you know?
plastic drapes. Yeah,
Yeah. So like, so that you couldn't do anything without the virtual identity for sure, right? That was the most important thing now, and that's how I think my business has grown today, virtually, because you can do that, and I think that everybody found out at first they thought, oh, we can't do it virtually, we have to see it in person. But now I do with real estate. I do virtual meetings all the time. They don't even have to. I tell them they don't even have to be down here. They can stay in New York where they are. If we find a good deal and they really want it and they show me that they've got the funds, they
yeah.
just need to see it, then I'll go there and walk them through it in a Zoom meeting or a Facebook call.
So it really has changed your business. Yeah, that ability to walk through, and they can tell you, right, turn left, turn right. I want to see this more
Exactly.
of this,
Yeah.
less of that. I know there were a lot of people who bought houses sight unseen. When
I've
that
had
even
that.
happened,
That has
right?
happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and what do
It's
you
been
think about that? I
amazing.
mean, is that's a large commitment for something you haven't ever really seen with your own eyes?
Well, what I say, and what I think, the way I think of it is that puts a lot of trust in me, right? They
Mhm.
have to have a lot of faith in me and what I think of the property. So
Sure.
I will do as much as take them outside, show them on my phone what it looks like out here. Okay, then even drive them down the road, show them from my phone what it looks like so
Yes.
that they can feel comfortable. Hey, if my realtor is saying this is a good buy,
Yeah.
must be, but you got realtors all the time that are going to not be so believable. And so yeah, that's a whole process to be shown, to show your clients that you can be believed and that they don't need to be here. And
What's yeah, what's something you think you do to help create trust with your client? That's actually a very important.
well, I am very big on social media, and that's what I promote. I have a Being Tracy page on Facebook. I also have a Living Tracy real estate page, and then I also have my own personal page. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn is big. And this is a way for people to get to know you so that they feel that they know you and they feel that they can trust you because they've been watching you. Sometimes for years, people are watching me before they even contact me and want to work with me.
So is this how the being told the being Tracy personality kind of works around it? I'm reading Rory Vaden's book, which is what I think it's called Well Known and Well Paid, if I got the name right. And it just said one of the last things that's in the last chapter is that people are starting now to buy not what they want, but from people who they want to buy from.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so they want to really know who you are as
Yes.
opposed to just know what you can do.
And it helps to be searchable. A lot of people brag that they don't have a social media presence or they don't have any footprint online, but that is super, super important right now, especially today because of so much of these virtual meetings, because that's the only way people have to get to know you, unless they are your friend or family that live close by, which that's pretty rare that someone, especially where I live in Florida, people are coming at us from all over the United States,
Yeah.
all over the world. And so they want to have a place and a way that they can get to know me without being right here right away. And then we have a long-standing relationship because they find through the things that I post, the things that I do, my family that's on there, my friends that are on there, they find that they can trust me from what I'm putting up.
Well, authenticity is something I get a chance to tell every speaker. It's the one thing you can work on every single day
Yeah.
as a speaker. That if you work on your authenticity, it'll pay off for you in like things like this. Often on the stage. What's one or two of the ways that you really show your authenticity through maybe your social media or your podcast?
Just posting, I post little videos all the time of what I'm doing, even if I'm just sitting on my balcony in the back overlooking the lake and I'm laughing at the ducks flying up in the trees. I just think it's hysterical. I got these ducks that fly up in the trees. But I mean, I just something like that, they just think, oh, okay, she's pretty nice. She likes to sit there. I like to do that too, because people want to relate to you. They want to be able, oh yeah, I do that too, or I just show me sitting having a coffee someplace or walking the beach. All of these things are just simple ways, and it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the thing that some people think, and the mistake that some people make is that before they can post it, it has to be perfect. You know what? People like my videos without makeup more than anything. And today you get to see it. I got lipstick on, but I'm like, I'm going to my daughter's after this, so I'm prepared to go visit with her. But um,
That's
yeah,
what we say that is that authenticity trumps perfection every day, and that
yes.
it also takes forever to do perfection, but authenticity is like you just put it up now. And yeah, food is one of my top things that I post that is not work related, mainly too, because everyone's got to eat, and
I understand food videos and food
yeah,
pictures go far. I understand. I don't do as much food. Mine are more people,
yes.
but I sometimes do food. I've got this Living Tracy real estate. It's got hot places to go on it. That's one of the
Oh.
folders that I have. So,
So how does speaking fit into all of your business then, Tracy? I'd love to hear a little more about what is speaking in the role of your.
well, I love to speak because I love to share and I love to help people know that they can transform and reinvent themselves just like I have. And so I like to give tools and strategies for resilience, rejuvenation, results that they can get so that they can have trackable results after I do a speaking engagement, that they can know what they can do and what they can achieve through the use of the things that I'll teach them that have worked for me and that have worked for other people that I know that they will get a good result from too as well if they do them just like I tell them.
Well, what do you see, Tracy, in the future of virtual and hybrid for you? What do you like? If you could either make a wish or you could see something that's going to happen in the future using technology. I'm just curious, what might that be for you, Tracy?
Well, winners will make virtual feel human, I think. Like you're truly in the room with people, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
And so that's what I foresee is the most important thing right now is for people to feel like they know you just from seeing you. And so
Hmm.
I think that's only going to get better and better. I mean, that's the difference between an audio phone call and being able to see somebody and see the reactions they're making. And now I feel like I know you even better right now, just even looking at your background there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, a little more in Seattle, and also we were talking about. Let's see if I have on here. In the office. Let's see if I can get this one right today. Oh, there you go. So things like this is like when you put an office in here. One of our top things is called good looks. Right? You heard me talk about this. Is like
I heard that. Yeah.
what you place in your
I
background.
took a picture of that
Yeah, yeah,
at the
yeah.
meeting, put the picture here.
So I actually, then I should ask you, there's probably, is there something about this painting that's behind you? I can't quite see it, but I think a doorway and
That's
a
a painting that was
person.
given to me by my grandmother.
Oh, say more. Well,
Yeah.
did
Yes.
the two of you, or
Same with
what is
this
it?
one too. They're both from my grandparents.
Oh, they're from your so did your grandparents paint them? Is that what you're saying?
No, they bought them, but they bought them over in Europe.
And where they were just traveling
Yes.
for
It's when they were
tourism,
traveling and it meant a lot to them. And so it means a lot to me.
that you get to keep it going
Yeah.
on, keep a little bit
Yeah.
of your grandparents
I
around
need
every
to
day.
improve my background. I had it set on, I didn't really know how to use these tools so well like you do, but I had a black bag or a blue background here first, and then I don't know how that disappeared. Maybe you took it off. I don't know. I'm not so keen. I don't know how to do that as well as you do, but I'm gonna learn. You gave me the tools to learn that. So I just haven't had time to do that yet.
Well, you've really worked, Tracy, though, on technique, right? We talked about technology, that's one thing, but technique is the other, which is this ability, again, to make a relationship even if they're not there, all right? And
Right.
also, show and display your authenticity around that. So, yeah, you said storytelling, of course, is on your podcast too. Tell me, what beliefs do you have about storytelling?
What beliefs do I have? I believe that people, when they hear your story, they need to be able to relate to it. So it needs to be a story that everyone or that many people have gone through. And that's the same as with comedy. They're not going to laugh if they can't relate to your comedy act.
Hmm.
So the stories that I tell and the stories that I pull out of my guests during interviews are all stories that many of us have gone through or we could see how that could happen.
Hmm.
And I think that makes the biggest impact on your listeners, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, do you have a favorite story that you usually like to share that might say a little something
Well, the
about?
one that I love to share is the one about the car accident
Oh, yeah,
because
right.
it was such an amazing thing, and everybody was saying I wasn't gonna walk, I wasn't gonna. I even since I lost the right side of my body, I even lost the ability to speak clearly, which now you can't even tell, right? So um, yeah, I mean that's my favorite story. But you know what? I've got a lot of them. I've got a lot of stories for the perfect event, for the women's group. I'm a mother of four daughters, four grown daughters that are going through weddings right now. I just moved from East Florida back to West Florida, which is where I met their dad, and I was married in 1993, and we had a 17-year marriage. We moved to the country of Panama together. And then
Yeah.
when all my kids started coming back for college, my ex-husband said, "Well, are you going to come back to Naples?" And I said, "Well, no, I've been to Naples. I'm going to go to the other side of Florida. I've been to Naples." So I went to the other side of Florida for 10 years. I was 5 years in South Beach riding my bike around 2 years in Coral Gables, 2 years in Boca East in Meisner Park, and then a couple months in Palm Beach, which made a total of 10 years. And then I'm thinking, well, first of all, possessions have memories. So while I had moved, each time I left a few possessions behind. And
Mm,
when I made the decision January 6th to move back over here, I thought I'm going to give the rest of these possessions to the homeless. Even the dresses that I liked, even if I liked it, if I had an attachment to it or any memory that came back, I gave it away because I thought I want to start new memories. And so
wow.
I gave it away and only came over here with what I could fit in my car. In just one night, I made all these changes, which some people say, oh, it's going to take me time to make change. It doesn't take any more time than you're willing to commit to or make time for. You can make time for whatever you want. So that's what I came over here January 7th, moved into my daughter's apartment that she just moved out of to live with her now husband. I've got two daughters that just got married this last year. And now I've got another wedding in November, another wedding in Panama in February. My daughter just moved from Beverly Hills to Ohio. She's getting married in Panama. So that's that's the way it's going right now. That's the way it's looking. And I'm coming up with new memories and new experiences and meeting new people in this wonderful place of Naples, which is where I came from, that I thought if I return, it's going to be going back. But you know what happened? I'm different now. So it's
Well,
different.
one of our sayings we have, right, is change happens in a heartbeat, but sometimes people take years to get to that moment. Right.
Right. I think that's true. That's a good point.
They're in
Good
contact,
point.
but you can
Yeah.
actually, the actual change itself can actually happen in a
I think
moment. All
that's
right.
wonderful.
Well, speaking of what happens in a moment, we're to the speed part of this interview, Tracy. I've been writing questions while we've been talking. I'm going to rapid fire some questions. You're going to try and answer them as quickly as possible. I'll play some fun sound
I
after.
didn't know about the rapid fire.
That's right. Okay, let's try some of these questions. Here we go. Rapid fire interview. Best place you've spoken.
Best place I've spoken at the Florida Chiropractic Association.
There we go. Um, a best alternative solution you've come up with in your life.
Alternative solution was to move back to Naples.
There you go. The best cheerleader in your life.
In my life, it's my sister Jacqueline. She's the publisher of the American Chiropractor magazine.
Oh.
Wow!
Best place you swam.
Best place I swam,
Yeah.
Indiana. That's where I swam.
Oh wow, Indiana.
That's where I grew up.
Yeah, yeah. What do you miss about Panama?
I miss the closeness of the islands, the mountains, and the beach. It was all very close. It was within a weekend, you could go to all three.
Wow, there you go. A short story you haven't shared yet.
A short story. I guess, let me think, a short story. Well, let's see. It was real nice when I moved back to this apartment because this apartment used to be this building where I live now used to be my mother-in-law's place of living. So I've come back here many a time with
Oh.
my little kids. And so now, and she just passed away last week. And when they moved her to senior living, my ex-husband actually brought up all of her furniture. So I've now kind of, she kept her stuff so nice. I've got brand new furniture in here now too. And so I moved to a furnished apartment, but now it's even better because of all her stuff is here. And every day I think of her. And because I mean,
Keeps the
it's
building.
just surreal. Here I am in her, probably at the age when she moved here, and I had little kids and we'd bring them to visit her. And now I'm living here and I just every day I think of it and think even when I'm out and back looking at the lake and the birds and the ducks back there that fly. I think, geez, this is what she was doing, I mean, it's amazing.
What do you love about real estate?
I love being able to serve people. I love being able to help make their dreams come true.
Oh, that's a good one. And if you could magically get people to remember one thing from this interview, Tracy, what would it be?
I would want them to feel like I have seen what they have seen, that I've felt what they're going through and that I could help them to be more resilient and reinvent themselves if they want to.
Just like you, right? So thank you, Tracy. Tracy's here, of course, of the Being Tracy Show. Make sure and check it out on YouTube or online. The link is here inside of the show. Tracy, do you have, last one is, do you have any wishes, any final wishes for 2025?
My wish for 2025 is that my soulmate is going to find me. I'm trying to make it easy for him. I'm trying to make it easy for him. And so my dream is soulmate finds me. And so I've been single for about 15 years after a 17-year marriage, so I'm ready.
Oh, let's see if we can do something around this. Maybe this is the podcast that's going to
You
help.
never know. You never know. That's why I put it out there.
What's one or two things? Yeah, I want to know what's one or two things that's really important for this next person.
I want someone who's really smart and fun and funny. And you know what? I don't want anything more than what I feel that I am and what I know that I am. So
interesting. All right. Well, if you are interested too of being not only a podcast guest, he could be the soulmate for Tracy. Make sure to go to the Being Tracy. She's like,
my sister says it's like rocks. You just throw them out there and see what comes back. You know, like you don't know.
You never know. Yeah. What I don't know. I feel like this is going to turn into like the Harry Met Sally. Like we're listening. Go ahead, caller. Right. I'm going to be on my deck. We're going to be calling in, and somebody's going to call into the show, and it's going to work like that, Tracy. It's going to be a great story. It's going to turn into a movie. That's how good it's going to be. Well, Tracy, thank you so much for being on the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. And I look forward to the next time I can come see and visit you in Fort Lauderdale.
I know. I want you on my podcast now.
Oh, I'm ready. Yeah.
But mine is in person. You have to come visit Naples.
Well, make that
Naples,
happen.
Florida.
I'll be there. And actually, that's right, because it's you have this beautiful studios. It all happened here, like in this.
Well, this is my studio in Boca.
Okay.
Now I'm in Naples, Florida. I have another beautiful studio here. And it's an amazing, adventurous, interesting. My guests are telling me they're having fun. So that's what I keep hearing. It was fun. So we'd love to have you and learn more about you and have you right in the studio with us.
Well, we'll love it. I can certainly bring the fun and maybe a story or two, Tracy.
I would love that.
Thank you for the invitation. I look forward to what I can do there.
Good.
Thanks again, Tracy.
Open invitation.
All right, this is John Chen. We've been visiting with Tracy, the Being Tracy Show, and she's just saying, be resilient. Look for different ways that you can solve the challenge that you have. I bet your challenge is probably slightly easier than learning how to walk. And so if you have that, then you have the tools to be resilient. Speaking of resilient, if you're watching here on social media, make sure and subscribe, share, like, or comment. If you want all the episodes of the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast, go to engagingvirtualmeetings.online, subscribe on one of your 15 beautiful favorite platforms. And now's the time too, right? If you want to learn how to be more resilient, especially on stage. Tracy actually saw this. David asked when I went to go speak to them, what do you do when all your text fails and all my mics during this presentation went out? And I was able to improv something that was called a John Sign Language, which was, I'm about to show you what it's like when all your mics get cut. Right? So that was the version they had, and everyone laughed around that. These are skills that you can learn at the Engaging Conference from over 18 different kind of speakers, October 28th through 30th, live here in Seattle, and you can participate from anywhere in the world on virtual. And the last thing here is if you want to be like Tracy, you said Being Tracy, if you want to be like Tracy, you too could be the next guest. You go to engagingvirtualmeetings.com/meet, select interview, and you could be the next guest here on the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. Be resilient, and I'll see you next time.
Don't we start people and keep old people? Show you got heart.